We are all familiar with tipping culture here in America. Some of us have worked in the service industry and others have contributed. We sit, we eat, and we are served by the waitstaff or bartender. Then we add money to our overall total when signing our receipts or leave a few cash dollars in gratitude. Some customers are cheaper than others, and still others are more vindictive. However, this is a relationship where the customer directly pays most of the waitstaff's wages. So if the little business is not doing so well and they don't bring in a lot of customers, well, the wait staff don't get paid the same each month. The reason for their unsteady income has to do with the difference between federal and state minimum wages. The federal minimum wage applies to the whole of the United States and right now is at $7.25. Some states have a minimum wage, such as $14 to $15, like here in California. Other states do not. In that case, the higher wage overrules the lower one. However, for tipped employees, the Fair Labor Standards Act allows for a maximum tip credit against minimum wage. So if the basic combined cash and tip minimum wage is the rate is $7.25 and the maximum tip credit against minimum wage is $5.12, then the minimum cash wage is $2.13. That means, according to the US Department of Labor website, in every state, federal law only requires employers to pay tipped staff $2.13 an hour. And their definition of a tipped employee is someone who receives at least only $30 a month in tips. Now, every state has its own rules, but employers cannot pay less than federal requirements. Mind you, the federal minimum wage has been at $7.25 since 1997, which is 25 years. There's a discussion of increasing the federal minimum wage. This would improve the well-being of low-income workers by raising their real income or income adjusted for inflation. This would decrease poverty levels and have an overall positive effect. This would also fight tipping culture by guaranteeing a livable, steady income for service workers. So we want this. We want that increase. According to Investopedia, there are, and I quote, there are plenty of reasons for raising the minimum wage, as reported by the Economic Policy Institute in 2019. The real value of the $7.25 minimum wage declined more than 17% in the last 10 years. As such, it's easy to see how raising the price floor, if only to keep up with inflation, makes sense. Plus, increasing the minimum wage has the potential to mitigate existing pay inequality. There was a tool that I was playing with on the Congressional Budget Office's website that allows you to see projected statistics for incrementally increasing the federal minimum wage. The charts show the effects on income, employment, and poverty. There actually was not much of a difference in income and poverty levels by increasing the federal minimum wage to $10, which reaffirms how outdated such a low minimum wage is. But I'll show you some of the charts for an increase to $15. Let me share my screen. Okay, so these are the parameters. You increase it to $15. The cash wage for tipped workers is the same as regular minimum wage. The target year for the full implementation is 2028, and we're looking at its index to have the median or middle wage. So minimum hourly wages will increase to $15 by 2028, and the cash wage for tipped workers will also increase until they become the same. We look at this chart, you have the same parameters, and then the average percentage change in real family income by income group also increases. We see that the ratio of family income to the poverty threshold it overall slightly decreases. And then the percentage of workers directly affected will increase up to a point. Then we look at this one, you see that the change in the people in the number of people in poverty, the mean estimate, the average, will decline, and we see this cloud here of the range of likely outcomes, but we see that overall it's a decline. the change in the number of people entering and leaving poverty in millions. We see that the net change is also a decline. And here we see that those going into poverty will steadily decrease, but those going out of poverty is a lot bigger. The benefits definitely outweigh the cost here, for sure.